Assalamu alaikum, Sayyid Rais.
أهلا وسهلا.
Ahlan wa sahlan. Because the fact is that we were on different sides when I was commanding the surge in Iraq. You were, of course, detained by U.S. forces for some 5 years, including, again, when I was the 4-star there. And here you are now as the president of Syria, which your forces liberated from the murderous Bashar al-Assad regime to participate in your first UN General Assembly as the president of your country. Earlier this year, you met the President of the United States among many other world leaders. Please help us understand how you got from al-Qaeda in Iraq 20 years ago to where you are today, Syria's head of state on stage in New York City.
It is good that at a time we were in the combat and then we now moved to the discourse. We moved from war to discourse. Yes, sir. Someone who went through war is one who knows most the importance of peace. First, the past has its rules when it comes down to traditions and rule and traditions and the customs of that phase. When we want to subject when we want to judge it, we have to judge it based on these phases. We cannot judge the past based on the rules of today, and we cannot judge today based on the rules of the past.
Well, again, as a former commander of
we try to break the restrictions. We have to lift the restrictions and lift the sanctions put on Syria, because these sanctions were put because of the regime of al-Assad since 1979, even before we were born, because that was a country that fostered terrorism and such. These sanctions, specifically the Caesar law that was pushed by the American Congress on the former regime because it had tortured and violated human rights on its people. It had committed many violations against the Syrian people. But this is a former regime. This is past. So therefore, these sanctions have to be lifted. And if these sanctions remain with the old regime collapse, then they'll be targeting the people and not the regime, the former regime. I think Syria deserves a new opportunity at life, and Mr. President Donald Trump took a bold decision to lift the sanctions speedily, but it is still pending at the Congress, and the Congress also has to push to better the situation in Syria, because the Syrian people have suffered over the last decades, and the sanctions should not remain because it causes a burden on the people who've already suffered by the oppression of the former regime.
We have made it clear that we'll never accept the division of Syria in faction, because this would lead to trouble and risk against neighboring countries such as Iraq. Therefore, we have to reach peaceful solutions. We have to endorse the document related to the implementation of the convention, with the agreement of all the factions, and those supported by Turkey and those supported by Iran. We have to seize the opportunity in order to reorganize Syria, and because this will benefit everybody, all factions, including the Kurds. Those who are part of the Accord parties to the Abrahamian Accords are not neighbors to Israel. For instance, Syria, as a neighbor, has been subjected to over 1,000 raids, strikes, and incursions, Israeli incursions in Syria from the Golan Heights, and many were killed. So what applies to the parties in the Abrahamian Accords does not apply to Syria.
This course is ongoing regarding peace, number 74. I believe that we reached advanced stages, and I hope that will lead us to an agreement that will keep the sovereignty of Syria and also resolve some of the security fears for Israel. We are focused on building and revitalizing the economy. Also, we have a lot of human resources. Syria is a people that love work, and they have diverse expertise. And in its nature, in the genetics of the Syrian people, they are commerce and trades people. So we please lift the sanctions and see what we can reach. There has been a lot of violations, and it worked on scaring the people in order to oppress them. But we cannot solve all the problems right away at once, but gradually we reach. Also, after the collapse of the former regime, the society has started to come together around the current presidency. And then at times, however, there was a bit of sectarianism that's reminiscent from the old regime. Priorities for this phase is the stability and the security in Syria, and through the unification of the Syrian people and the Syrian land and limiting weapons, we are going to enhance the security, and there's a good connection with the economic development, between economic development and security stability.